hurry up and perform to be at the top. There we go, just 3 seconds now, 3, 2, 1, and there it goes. We'll just be loading the drivers now on the track, drivers on the circuit now, just in a minute, to have ourselves of some action. And there we go, we are in the pit lane already, as we try and get these menus ready up, of course, to have ourselves of the best daytime, best telemetry available, as we have the track map available as well. We'll be able to see every single one of them around the track and know where they are, every single one of them currently in the garage, still waiting for that best time, waiting for that best window to get out on the track and go racing. So pretty much every team should have 2 drivers. One team that has only one seems to be Aston Martin. I think Aston Martin, it is Kurt in the Aston Martin, but no one else. And there you go, Mr. MJ is out on track now. Very first one. In fact, there is more drivers other than him and everybody else now coming out of that track, as we just have that outlap on in front of their names, and one of them is Devil Rejected, the man currently, both McLaren drivers, Adams and Devil Rejected, P13-14, but of course that is without any time out on the track, so he's the first one to be out on the circuit and give us some action and performance and begin his flying lap before everybody else, and be the first one to have a time on board. But we'll just be knowing that in a minute. And right behind him on track is Ali then. Ali, this driver, I think I've seen him somewhere else as well, if I'm not wrong, while commentating. And we try and catch up and focus on others behind as well. And there is 2 cars, one of them in an AlphaTauri, and it is Johnny Reid himself. Previous Grand Prix at Qatar with Elite Division. He surely qualified on pole, I think, or at least in that top 2. Did a fantastic race, but collided with the race leader and really wasn't able to, you know, convert that into the win. Surely he was fighting with Nimble, and remember going into turn 1, fighting for that race lead. He lost it, and then it was a road to recovery. Still recovered it to P3, which was fantastic. As we are now seeing all the drivers beginning their laps, beginning their flying laps, faster laps, and Daddy Cool, out of the 19 drivers, the only one driver out on that medium compound tire. You don't really see drivers coming out on that medium tire in the short qualifying session, though. Some drivers do try it, but maybe not all of them. As for example, we'll see, out of 19, only one of them is on a medium compound tire. All 18 on that soft. But we're having a look at this man now. Devil Rejected goes through that to the end of that middle sector. Now onto the last one. As right behind him is Ali, so we'll be quick to catch up to him. Both of them on a flying lap. Devil's teammate Adams currently on an outlap, so yet to start. But one man, it is Devil Rejected himself, is going to be coming across that last corner. Around he goes, up the hill to that finish line. It is going to be 118.9. What can anybody deny him? What about this man? Ali now in the Alpine across that finish line. Is he going to go any faster? He goes way faster. It is way fast for him. And I think, and then after that, it is Nimble, current last Qatar Grand Prix winner, just starting his flying lap. And I think there should be a Red Bull, and Johnny Reid right behind that Red Bull goes P1, and then Tom behind him goes P1 again. That is Tom way faster. That's a huge cap, 1:15.792. Tom, remember, as we were talking about, one of the esports category drivers, surely that's going to be the difference. But Johnny still good enough for P2, and Tyler there as well in 1:16.2s as well. And right behind them is Ali, MJ P6, then Baton behind his teammate for P7, Devil Rejected, and then Daddy Cool, of course, the slowest on that medium compound tire. As what about Daddy's teammate then? It is going to be Scott across that finish line. Is he on a flying lap? He is, but he doesn't go any faster at all. He goes even slower than his teammate, but what about Devil's teammate, Adams, and he goes P4 as we try and catch up with everyone on a flying lap, on a faster lap, as we have fantastic, and I think there is an Alpine, but...
What up chat, vandaag ga ik mijn outfits doorverkopen op Vinted. En jij beslist, verkoop ik deze jas of misschien deze hoodie? Aight, maar voor hoeveel? Weet je het zeker chat? Let's go! Ook jij kan geld verdienen door je oude kleding door te verkopen. Of iets anders. Download Vinted.
Unlimited van Odido. Want soms heb je meer data nodig dan je denkt. En soms ook even niet.
Kijk, daar gaat ze hoor. Lea is klaar voor haar eerste werkdag. Bij McDonald's kijken we naar wat je meebrengt en hoe we dat samen kunnen inzetten. Dat is lekker werken.
Do you have any lays? You don't have any?
No lays, no game.
Do you fancy pizza?
No lays.
Gotta be lays, guys. Hey! Finally! Please, come down!
On an out lap now, still we only have 12 drivers having a lap time on board. Past that, no time for anyone. I think I see a Red Bull of Baton on a flying lap. He tries to improve even without any battery. He does so, just goes ahead of his teammate in P9 then, but doesn't improve time-wise at all. What about Jazza Boy then? Remember Jazza Boy, I don't think he had any good of a race in Qatar then. I think in qualifying he was fine, but in the race quite ruined it and quite not good. But we'll just know in a time. And I think I'm seeing as I was having a look at Dangerous Dave. Is it Dangerous Dave? It is not. It is his teammate. It is Cinders, and that is going to be okay. He's just going to be starting his lap. I wonder if it's Cinders or Kinders. Apologies if I'm really pronouncing it wrong, but anyways, I think then Dangerous Dave now coming across and closer to that finish line. He's going to try and improve. It goes P7. Surely improves by a nice little margin. I wonder if he even had a lap earlier. I'm not sure about that, but we see an AlphaTauri now, and I think that's going to be, that might be Phoenix Gray then. I was still going to say that it is Johnny Reid. It is going to be Johnny Reid beginning his flying lap now, his second attempt, and get closer and closer to Tom then. Tom in that Williams at the top at the moment. I mean, the last time a Williams driver was at the top, of the scenarios were different, but that's just a thing for sometime else. And that is Kurt going into the pits as well. What about the Ferraris? And I think I'm seeing a Mercedes on an out lap, and that is Tyler then in that Mercedes going to go improve then others behind as well. Everybody's now just trying to start their flying laps as the bottom four then. Jonathan, Jazaboy, Kinders, and it is Kinders across that finish line. It is P11 for him. It is MSCF1, and that's P11 for him. What about the drivers behind him then? And I think Phoenix Gray should be the one now. He's only one of the three drivers that don't have a lap on the board at the moment. Is he going to go? How fast is he going to be across that finish line? It is going to be P6 for him. Still far off his teammate though. But what about Haas behind? But I think both of them are on their out laps. What about Johnny then? Johnny Reid, as Tyler has been disqualified from the session, has had a lap as good as P3 from Tyler. Has been disqualified. And what about Johnny Reid then? He still stays P2, but quite a massive improvement, and it might even be close towards the ending times of the qualifying session. Surely Tom is going to find time as well. But what about Johnny then? Johnny Reid's going to do everything he can to get back at the top, do everything he can to be the better driver, to give himself and show himself that he can do it. Show us as well and everybody around the track that he's still got it. If you put it, doesn't matter if you put a esports driver in front of him or someone's that's not that good, or there we go, that Jonathan on an invalid lap, doesn't matter at all. What about the McLaren? So Adams on an flying lap, but he's far away from that finish line. One of the Red Bulls is across that line, and I think that is going to be MJ then across that finish line. Is he improving? He is not. Surely just and cool down lap for him. And I see another Alpha Tauri. Is it going to be Phoenix or is it going to be Johnny? And that was Phoenix into the pits. What about Johnny himself? Johnny also comes into the pits. Surely he's got good times, as we have 8 minutes now remaining in the session, and I'm sure if he's got as good, surely if he's got over 2:10s now, but I wonder if he has so, but surely those new tires should give him some time from the lap. And there now we are on board with Nimble the man, Qatar Grand Prix winner. He's got that Charles Leclerc green helmet in that Ferrari, and I'm seeing Scott, it might be Scott in that Haas, as we're trying to catch up with him for a lap, and he goes into the pits. What about Adams? I think should be closer to that pits now. He goes into the pits as well. What about MJ? MJ's far away. It is Baton now finishing that line. What about the Aston Martin of Kurt then? He's P10, still staying P10. I think he's just beginning. He's better, faster, and a flying lap. What about Devil? Then Devil's crossed that finish line. Devil rejected. Does improve almost 4/10, but not improving by position, of course. Still 2 drivers having no lap, with Tyler getting disqualified. I'm sure that disqualification is going to be taken away when we're going for that race start, but I wonder if that's going to be the case, and where is his lap time really going to put him, because unless we've got that data for his lap time, there's going to be nothing that we could check that where does he stand. And what about Nimble now comes into the pits as well. He invalidated his lap and he goes into the pits already. He's not wasting any time. He's just going to go in and just try and have one more attempt if he can towards the end then, as both the AlphaTauri drivers now leave the garage to have a best chance for themselves. And Tom now begins his flying lap and surely begins another one to try and improve, to try and put a lap time that's going to be far, far away from Johnny's reach, from Nimble's reach, or anybody in that top 5. As Ali is doing a fantastic job in P6 as well, as Baton now goes P7, just ahead of Dangerous Dave. Right behind them is a Ferrari. It is Jazza Boy who's just beginning his flying lap, and we're going to go and catch up with someone who would be on a flying lap. The Alfa Romeo boys are closer to that line, but not on a flyer. What about Devil? Then he's slowing down to let others by, so definitely he's not on a faster or a flying lap. And I think I see Ali, or is it Ali? It's not Ali, it's his teammate, the Dutchie, currently P10, 117.3. Definitely a lap time he needs. Definitely both the Alpine drivers. Maybe in terms of Alpine, it is fine. They're still staying in P10. I think Dutchie's got a good chance to improve and go a bit far, be closer in that spin, and he has a spin and he almost goes in the wall. He in fact does make contact with the wall, just coming out of the corner. Rear's giving no support, and that's going to put him in the wall. Really lucky to not rear end his car and lose all that parts and all that car, and he spins once again. He does it one more time. He's just trying to get out of those corners and not running into anybody, but also having those tire temperatures really high up is only going to be worst for him. We of course cannot know that how his tires are, but really it's going to be hard for him as we try and catch with someone. And Jazza Boy now across that line. He's one of the drivers having no lap time on board, and he's just beginning his flying lap. He might have invalidated his previous one because I'm sure he started his lap far long ago. What about Jonathan then? He's also just going to begin his flying lap. Jonathan hasn't had a lap time on board as well. Of course, every single one of them has went on the track, but has found no improvement or not a valid lap. What about the Alfa Romeo now? Still stays P12, or improves over 10th and a half. And I think there's a McLaren behind them. Is it going to be Adams? Is it going to be Adam across that line? It is not Adam. Adam has invalidated his lap already. It's one of the Haas drivers. Both of them on a flying lap, and one of them is closer, and that is Daddy Cool. Is he going to be putting a lap time cool enough? That might not be. Currently P12, just improves by a position. He does improve, so what about the Alpha Tauri boys now? We're having a look at Johnny. We're having a look at Phoenix Gray just behind his teammate. What about Johnny then? Johnny comes into the pits, maybe not finding any improvements or any time on his lap, and across that finish line. What about for Phoenix? He goes P3, improves over 2.6 tenths, and I think there's a McLaren that's coming into the pits as well. Jezza boy, we try and catch up with him. We're waiting for him to put a lap time in, and he doesn't do so. Still comes back into the pits. A lot of strategic thinking going on, but with only 3 minutes remaining, you wouldn't have enough time to put a lap in, come back, and then go out once again. So sure, a nice little strategy to stay in there. What about Jonathan now? He's been trying since very long to put a lap time, and that's going to be really good one. That puts him P6, 1:17.0. He might have enough time at least for that top 6 and be as much closer as he can to his teammate, that's for sure. He's going to do everything to be closer to his teammate, and the McLaren's going very fast, but not fast enough because it's not around that track. And what about Scott? Now comes into the pits, so does Daddy Cool. Almost every single one of them in that pit lane. One of the Mercedes, the only one remaining in this session, One Kidney Jim. His teammate, of course, disqualified for going the wrong way. I wonder if that's going to be taken back or that stays how the game has given it. What about his teammate Phoenix Gray also into the pits already? I think I saw him into the pits or not. I don't think I saw him in the pits. He in fact went and improved. What about Kurt now? Kurt Maestro. He's just going to be beginning his flying lap. What about a blue car that we see? That is not Jonathan. That should be one of the Red Bulls. And it is Baton, currently P8. It is not, in fact, it is not Baton. It is, it is not MJ as well. So I think it's one of the Williams drivers as well. And let's have a look at it. Let's try and catch up with Jonathan. It's his Williams drivers. It's quite confusing between the Williams blue color and that Red Bull blue color, really. Apologies about that. As now, Double Rejected is already out of the session as well. One retirement and one disqualification, I'd say. Unless he's crashed. There's not much. As we've just now, minute and 20 seconds remain in this session. Not a lot before we go. Not a lot before we come to a conclusion and to the end of this session, of course. It's going to be really, really exciting for us to see all these drivers put a lap in, put a performance in towards the end and show us what they can do. Sure, they're on trying to improve, they're doing everything they can. And what about the One Kidney Jim now? Is he going to be on an improvement across that finish line? That's definitely not an improvement. He might have went off, then just slowed down or slowed down to let others by. But the Ferrari drivers beginning their flying lap at the very, very same time. What about the drivers behind them now? What about Baton? He's quite far away. He's not going to be finding anything. And I think I see an Alpha Tauri, but that is Johnny beginning his flying lap. And all the drivers now, it's really, really, really going to be close. Is Kurt going to improve across that finish line? He doesn't do so, and he might have enough, he might just have enough time to begin a flying lap, but it's going to be really, really close between all of them and doing a lap. And what about the Alpine? We catch up of the Dutchie, just currently in P11, trying to improve. And I think his teammate Ali is just going to begin a flying lap. He's just going to be reaching that checkered flag. That makes sense that you retired, because you would never have enough time to retire to set a lap time out on that track, as we were having drivers already taking those checkered flag. Phoenix has done so, so has Jonathan, Baton, Dangerous Dave, as others follow by, then Daddy Cool and the other Alfa Romeo has as well. What about One Kidney Jim then? He's across that closer to that as well. He doesn't have enough time remaining and just enough time in that lap and goes into those pits. What about I think I was having closer to Dutchie. What about Dutchie then? He goes across that finish line. P9 then. What about Johnny? Is he going to come into the pits? He doesn't come into the pits. Of course, that finish line. And Johnny Reid goes pole position. He's taken that last minute. Is Tom going to find enough time? He will not. He had invalidated his lap. And Johnny is going to find a time that's going to be very fast, or even Tom's time. And he's done so. And Nimble then towards the end, only fast enough for P3. What about Adams then? Adams improves the position to go to P4 as well. Everyone now has taken the checkered flag, but fantastic lap towards the end from Johnny there. Just finding that lap time. It was quite fine margins, but he has done so. fantastic lap, and it's surely going to be very exciting lap and a very exciting race between the top two at least, and I'm sure Nimble's not going to leave them behind as well. Try and put himself in there between the top guys, that's for sure. So here's a look at the qualifying finishing order by just 35 hundredths to Johnny finished that qualifying pace just ahead of second place. Oh yes, actually for P7 between Kurt and Jonathan for P7 really close, as well as we will just be a few seconds before we move into the race. A bit of a break as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fast-paced world of MSC F1 Esports. Join us as we witness the world's top talent battle it out in the ultimate virtual racing showdown. Get ready for heart-stopping moments, breathtaking overtakes, and unforgettable memories. This is MSC F1 Esports. Let the race begin.
For the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go!
Good evening, my people up in the chandeliers. The wine and dining, the menu is blood, sweat, and tears. Everybody ready, raining down confetti, champions are born right now. Air about the glamour, click goes the hammer, run when you hear that sound. Heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. We know we survive.
Excellent job, mate.
Line. Their dreams just keep dripping out of their golden cups. I'm starving, leftovers ain't enough. Ain't about the Royals, they do nothing for you. All you got is you right now. Who's gonna falter? Who is gonna conquer? Better never count me out. Heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. We know we survive, even if we crawl to the finish line. All overlated, underdog dreaming, don't need no tears. World's gotta say it. Heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. Gotta make it to the finish line every day, every day. Gotta make it to the finish line. Gotta make it to the finish line every day, every day. Heroes never die.
He will look for a move on Jonathan. Here comes the McLaren of DMT. Oh, he goes left and then to the right, and he makes the move. That was clean, crisp, and quality racing from the McLaren driver up to P6. Contenders round, oh my God!
Heroes never die. Gonna make it to the finish line.
That's enough. Phoenix Gray once again has shown
You are the new champion of the world.
heat. Oh, Devil rejected on Dino, goes in deep. And Devil rejected is out. He's crashed.
You okay?
For him at turn 5.
Okay, mate.
I'm the man that walked out of fire.
It's all about being calm. These guys.
Rejected is out. He's crashed.
You okay?
For him at turn 5.
Okay, mate.
I'm the man that walked out of fire.
It's all about being calm. These guys have an almost fighter pilot mentality.
Goodness, Phoenix Gray is out. And it's the lights out and away we go. One kidney Jim is out. Look at this little battle between the Aston Martins have changed position. On the back of Devil rejected. The Aston Martin and the Alpine. The Aston Martin champion will reject him. Portimao down the inside. Oh, it's fully. Oh, that free ride out. That big ray at turn 10. And once more they have a little niggle, but it is the Mercedes of Wesley that's through. It's your boy Alfie into the slits. Jimmy's using that battery. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor. Keep on surviving.
Prix ranked first for on-track passes with a total of 58. That DRS zone down the main straight, which helped many of those overtakes, has been shortened by 120 metres. We'll see what difference that makes in hot, sunny but blustery conditions this afternoon. A top speed of 212 miles an hour. Not one but two DRS zones. They put one in between turn 4 and 5. And Lewis Hamilton with the race lap record. This was last year's race. Lance Stroll and a move on Lando Norris that really didn't do Lance Stroll any favours. He was the only driver to retire from the race, 19 finished. Carlos Sainz had an excellent start. He started 7th. By the end of lap 1, he was up into first place. This is the move on Valtteri Bottas. He led 4 of the 5 opening laps. And Kimi Räikkönen from 16th on the grid, getting past Alex Albon here to move up into 7th place. He'd eventually move up into 6th before finishing 11th in the race. The tyre compounds, the same as they were last year. C1 is the hard, C2 is the medium, C3 is the soft. And the medium tyre, very much the favoured race tyre. The top 4 all start on that yellow striped tyre. But will the soft tyre runners at the beginning get a better launch off the line, and will they be a threat in the opening couple of laps?
Because for someone like me, commentating at midnight really helps to end the race as early as possible, as we just try and entertain some kind of entertainment and a bit of talking going on really before we have some action out on track. But I'm sure it's going to be fantastic and a greater action out there when we begin, as soon as we do so, just in a few minutes time. So it's going to be the start at 45 of the clock. So we've got quite a few minutes before we begin. We'll just take another short break and be back once again.
What up chat? Vandaag ga ik mijn outfits doorverkopen op Vinted. En jij beslist, verkoop ik deze jas of misschien deze hoodie? Aight, maar voor hoeveel? Weet je het zeker chat? Let's go! Ook jij kan geld verdienen door je oude kleding door te verkopen. Of iets anders. Download Vinted.
Unlimited van Odido. Want Want soms heb je meer data nodig dan je denkt. Het kan ook zo.
So it should be, of course, we would not be beginning in a few seconds. It is 44 now, just a little bit time before we start the race. Of course, the Grand Prix here at Portugal. It's surely going to be definitely a fantastic one and a great one as well, as we're just back now from the break, and definitely an exciting one, that's for sure, as all the drivers, it was so close between P1 and P2, and also at the bottom of the grid as well for P6, P7 and 8, all around the grid, all around the track, and surely in the whole race it's going to be fights, close battles, and a lot of actions around, going around. So definitely don't go anywhere, stick around for the fantastic action. It should be time now, 45, 46 it is now, and we should be starting any minute for the 5 red lights, and we go racing just in a little bit time. I think we should be starting in a few minutes time now. It shouldn't take long enough for us to have the action on track, for us to have the cars go around in circles, go around, racing each other out, as you're already having a look at all these cars. It's going to be 5 red lights, and we begin, and we go racing here at Portugal once again. It's a good start. Johnny from pole right behind Tom has already gotten ahead of Johnny. They're still wheel to wheel. They'll surely go wheel to wheel into turn 1, as Tom has already taken that race lead. And then at the back, Tyler and Nimble giving it everything. Of course, Tyler had that disqualification, but that doesn't count up for the race. Tyler goes very wide. He's going to lose so many positions at the back. He's falling behind P4, and then at the back, Jonathan making moves, as well as Ali and everyone right behind there. And on the inside goes Kurt. Huge dive bomb on the inside, and that is a very, very wrong one, and that gets Adam up there as well, and that is definitely a messy move from the Aston Martin driver there. A huge dive bomb, and that's ruined at least the race of 3 other drivers. It was 3 cars now around the outside of Daddy Ghoul goes Adams, and definitely Adams not going to be happy about that. He was fighting in that top 5, and he's falling behind because of some other driver's mistake. He went into that, pushed a Williams driver down there as well. Jonathan that was. He's at the very back of the pack as well, as we have a look at the top, and then Tom already pulling away over a second 9/10 now. It would be a second in a minute's time. But surely the fight between Johnny Reid and Nimble's not going to stop. So will to be Tyler attacking from behind. It's going to be fantastic. Both the Alpine drivers going to try and fight each other out. Now Phoenix going to try and make a move on Dutchy, so he does so around the outside. Still fighting it out though. No one's having easy on them. No one's letting anybody past as we try and have a look at the data. Now as we have a look at all the drivers, only 2 of them starting on that hard compound tire, all of the others on that soft and the mediums. And with the we're going to see a battle here with the softs of Phoenix Grey versus the mediums of the Dutchy at the moment. Dutchy holds down, but then Betton's trying to make a move on Ali, though Ali doing a fantastic job hanging around in the top 5 there. Johnny fantastically catching up. Johnny started, of course, the opposite strategy of anyone in that top 5 so far. But we'll see what it pans out towards the end of the race as these guys are fighting it out. And Adam's car is ghosted. I wonder Adam's still in the race or not, because that's if the AI is in the race, that happens. So, but we don't know what is going to be the case around here. It was definitely one of the worst starts for Adam though, as he collided and got fell behind because of a mistake from Kurt. It was not a mistake, but moreover a mistake, pretty much on purpose, really. That dive bomb. Surely he might have had no way to go, but he shouldn't have done that. As on the inside now, going to go off MJ will be Jazza Boy making some moves for that Ferrari team into turn 1. He's already ahead on that soft compound tire, and Johnny Reid has already had the fastest, not the fastest lap, but in fact the 3-second time penalty. That's definitely not going to help him, and he almost goes wide there. He takes a bit of a wider and a different line from the Tom ahead, and then Nimble behind is going to try and catch as well. We're only on lap 3 out of 33, and we've already had a bit of action around the circuit. Still going to be a big race, and Johnny now needs to get another 3-second penalty, let's say, to have that, and I think it's going to be fair, really close. And if it is really this close as it is at this point, Johnny might be finishing outside the top 3, but of course it's a long race. Others might end up getting penalties as well, so we will leave that for the end of the race and for the ending parts of the Grand Prix. It's still very early to say anything out there as Tom gets another fastest lap, but surely only 1 second. 1 second is quite a lot as well, surely, so he's not pulling away as fast as some Williams driver at the US Grand Prix. That's all I'm going to say. But we are now having a look at these guys as Dangerous Dave gets a 3-second time penalty as well, and I think Kurt Maestro has a penalty, and his penalty should be something else, I think, or is it going to be the... Now this is so close between Nimble and Johnny Reid then, and it is the Aston Martin driver's penalty, also 3 seconds, but I wonder from where it was that from that collision or from something else, as we're having a look at the faster lap times now. So the top 5 kind of in those 119s, then Phoenix Grey getting in there as well, but he's quite behind at this point in terms of positions. Is P7, but I'm sure it's a long race. It is going to be a good chance for him to get closer and closer as we try and go back. At the bottom it is Adams, then after falling behind he's not been able to gain anything, but I wonder if it's him racing or the AI as we have a look at the cars behind Daddy Cool, as we see a move for that last point scoring position as Tom is going faster and faster every lap. He's P1 at the moment, 1.6 the gap now, and now one more chance for Dangerous Dave to make that move, and come on Kidney Jim, Kidney's got no ERS left, and Dave has got all of it, and into turn 1 he goes. He already car length ahead of the Mercedes car around there as Jazza Boy making that move as well, but I think that is another pack as well, and the Alfa Romeo in between that McLaren and that Ferrari sticking around there as well. But I wonder if Jazza Boy's got enough pace, and there was a lockup from one of the drivers, and actually a lot of many lockups as Adams has now joined back, and I was correct, it was not Adams, but he'll be doing everything to catch up back to the top and to that to the top of the grid and the point scoring positions at least. Surely his qualifying position was great, but not the start he would have wanted. As we're having a look at Tom now, 1.6 seconds clear of the cars behind, and Johnny Reid has been overtaken by Nimble. We seem to miss that. These guys were close, very, very close as well. And Johnny, of course, with that penalty, if not pace-wise, maybe some psychological thinking going around in that cockpit, as Tyler now has a proper chance to Johnny as well. Still 1.2 seconds the gap, but something proper could happen, and at least at the top there is now not much of a chance. But now one more chance for this man, and it is going to be one Kidney Jim once again going to turn one, go to make that move and make his car ahead. But now he comes back at him, does Dangerous Dave. They're still will to will, they're still fighting, none of them is backing out, and in the end Kidney Jim has to back out, in fact. But he is going to get that DRS right behind Dangerous Dave then to get his rear wing open. He's got no ERS, but that DRS is going to give him the help to stay close. So hasn't Dangerous. Dangerous got no ERS left as well. As we have a look at the bottom of the race to have a look any closer fights, and these guys are still close, in fact. And Kurt, after causing collision and after causing chaos, he himself has moved up to P16 at least, making some positions. And now one more chance, and many more chances for him at the top. And Nimble now getting closer to the leader. Surely Nimble showing that he's got actually quite more pace than Johnny has, at least for time being. But we'll know in a minute if he's able to do so to catch up to that top. And then now Tyler over 8/10 the gap. This battle's good, but what about the one for P3 then? He's still quite far away though. Still could be far enough. Might not be close enough to make that move, but surely if we try and have a look at it in the minutes time, meantime, there is someone spinning, and that is MJ in that Red Bull, and that might have been the spin on his own or something. As we have Adams now making moves, as he's himself in that car now, as we have a look at Jazza Boy and Cinders for that fight, and both of them are going to do everything they can to keep that position. Jazza Boy is going to have that DRS. Is he going to go on the inside to make that move? He's got not quite close enough and not make the mistake that Kurt did at the beginning of the race. That kind of ruined not only his but others' race as well. So sure, you don't want to do that, and especially not very early in the race, as we are still in the early parts of the Grand Prix. It is lap 7 out of 33, so a very, very long race remaining. It's close between Dutchy and Dangerous Dave. Phoenix Gray kind of in his own race, but sure, his fight with Baton then on those soft tires, doing a really good job sticking in that top 6. And now this is even more closer. It is between even more closer for that race lead, and Nimble might be making a move on Tom here. Just in a minute we'll get to know how good is it. But that's not a move at all. But the move surely behind, it is a move. And it is a move for Tyler to going to P3. Tyler has been doing fantastic since the last few Grand Prix, and I think he does it one more time. And Johnny gets another penalty, and his chances might be getting lesser and lesser to be finishing in that top 3 then. As he gets another penalty, surely he's not going to fall behind. He's going to give it everything, and that race lead move has not came up yet. Is it going to be one more chance for Nimble? Surely Tom, using all his experience, using all his years of experience, years of driving, and that performance that he has to show on track. We'll just get to know in a minute if he's able to do so, as we have moves going on at the very last few point scoring positions in the race, as Ali keeping it P5 as well. Fantastic for him, as we have a catch with Dutchy and Dangerous Dave it is. But we are once again going to that top, and to that top going, as Adam's now going to try and make a move on Scott here. Is it going to be a chance for Adam? But one more chance should be of this man, and Tom moves to that inside line very early towards the end of the lap to maybe defend going into turn 1. But is Nimble going to be able to do that now fantastically into turn 1? But it is very close this time. He's sent it in there, but Tom doing a fantastic job. And Johnny has pitted, and he's got a penalty while pitting. He's not only going to have to pay some penalties, but get one more as well. That's definitely not going to be working for him. As on the inside, going to go for it. Is he going to go for it, the Dutchie? Or is he going to back out? He just backs out of it to have no damage or to have no collisions around that. And he spins and he almost collides with one Kidney Jim. I have no idea how Kidney Jim avoided that. Very, very close. As he was just coming out of that corner, he spun it and really let almost hit others then. He really was fighting for that point and for that P7, and that's really spun himself and his chances of very, very good points going minus then. And now it's a chance for Phoenix now to try and make a move on Baton. Baton's doing a fantastic job sticking up there around, but how good is he going to be able to do that? And Johnny, of course, on those soft tires now has pitted for the hards to try and go towards the end of the race from here. And what about Nimble then? I think Tom's really doing a fantastic job defending as well. He's only making that one move that you're supposed to do in defending, but this time it might not be enough. But in fact, it is going to be enough to defend his race lead and to defend his P1 position, at least so far in the race. Nimble's doing a fantastic job keeping close, but it's not quite easy making those overtakes down. But it is quite easy for this man to be making an overtake, and it is Phoenix Gray, but he's going to come back at him. He goes almost over that sausage curb, jumping his car around, and there's still will to will. No, them is backing out. Surely Gray between Baton and Phoenix Gray. There's still will to will. Baton comes back at him. They're still going around. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Who's going to back out? None of them choose to do so. Surely Baton was late on the brakes, but he might have outbraked himself. He goes very, very wide. Might have been pushed around there as he comes back on the track. Just a bit of going a bit wide, and Baton gets that 3-second penalty then. Definitely both of them fighting each other, and I think Baton there was pushed wide, and when he tried to come back at him, it got him the penalty. That might not be the correct one. We'll just get to know in a little bit time. The fight between a fight for P6, P5 it is in fact. It's a fantastic one, and Baton's not going to pull away. Baton's not going to let it very easily, as well as Dangerous Dave pulling away, pulling in on these guys as well for that top 5. It is really, really fantastic. But let's have a look at the top 2 once again. Every single lap we're trying to have a look at them and try and have a chance to see Nimble take that race lead, but he's not been able to do so. Fantastic it's been. Tyler still staying there as well. Of course, the medium tire runners doing a fantastic job and still keeping it out there. And one man who's going to keep it just ahead of the car ahead of him, and that is going to be Baton going into P5 once again. Of course, the hard soft tires, I mean, still working great as well. Johnny had that penalty, had to pit, but it's freaking fantastic for the likes of Phoenix and Baton then with keeping up with each other. And now there could be a chance for Dangerous Dane on Phoenix. Then Phoenix could be in a big pressure from Dangerous behind, but still not out there. And Adams getting us the penalty, and I think now Phoenix going to come back at him. Phoenix going to try and get out of Baton, and he's managed to do so already with that help of that DRS on that previous straight. And now we see Dangerous Dave now removing, getting behind, getting ahead of Baton as well. As we just have F1, F7 Racing rating us. Thank you so much for that. We have a fantastic action racing going around here at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Hey, how you doing? We just midway through this fantastic Portuguese Grand Prix. Fantastic race it is. It is 12 laps out of 33 as we're having many moves making, as now Baton's falling behind. A lap earlier it was Phoenix who was falling behind, but now it is Baton, and a proper chance for Dangerous Dave to go into 5th place now. Then it is no ERS for none of the drivers. None of them drivers have that ERS or have that battery remaining, as on the inside goes Dangerous Dave, still will to will. None of them is backing out. One had to go very wide, but still quite close. It's still very close. Now anybody's game, and still as Johnny gets another time penalty, as Baton's now coming back at him, and on the inside line, he has very big inside line. Is he going to go on that making the move? He doesn't have to do so. He just backs out of it. He has to back out of it, but it was definitely a fantastic battle. We're still going at it. The soft tire runners giving it everything. The only soft tire runners in that top 10 at the moment, with Johnny the only one who has pitted so far with newer hard tires, as the rest of them have not. So we're having a look at the race lead now. still over half a second, but it's not been quite close or quite easy for those guys. Then is it going to be another chance for Nimble here to go for that race lead? Hey, evening, how you doing? We're just in here for a fantastic Grand Prix action there. Then it's a great fight between Nimble and Tom. It's not been a fight between these two, but moreover at the bottom of the grid and bottom positions of those point scoring positions. Then we're still having a look at these guys one more time. Once again we have a look at these guys as we're having a look at this once again. We're on lap 13 out of 33 then. Still quite a lot of laps remaining as we have drivers pitting. Then Adams, remember, had a bizarre race start. Of course, then didn't want to do anything, as now Dangerous locks up. Dangerous locks up, then loses the positions, and now Johnny gets ahead of Jazza. Then Johnny's having to fight that. That's not easy for Johnny as well. Surely he's pitted, but he's having to fight those guys also, as well as he's having to fight those penalties that he's got. As we try and have a look at the penalties that everybody has got, the bottom from Adam to Devil Rejected have all got 3-second time penalties. 14 seconds to Johnny Reid. His race is honestly really over unless he pits one more time to recover it and do something that's going to be removing all his penalties. And this time it is far closer between the top two. One more time. I had a look at it, did Nimble, but just not close enough to make that move and make that move for that race lead and see himself at the top. Still could be one more chance for that DRS. Could be one more chance at it as we have a look at the bottom drivers, the ending parts of the point scoring positions, as now one Kidney Team's going to have a fight for it, and he's going to go on the inside of Johnny Reid, and Johnny's really having to be struggling around here, to be honest. Surely he started on pole, but it's been falling behind the grid ever since. Sure, he's still doing everything he can, but of course, even if you expel those penalties, he's only been able to recover to P6 so far, as an early pit stop for him because of all those penalties. But still quite a long race still so far, more than half of the race still remaining, so quite a long time to recover and to go at that top once again. If he pits one more time, maybe towards the end for that soft compound tire, and one more chance now. Is one of these guys going to pit? Surely the soft tire runners are pitting, but we're not seeing any medium tire runners pitting, and this is very, very close, and the closest they've ever been, the race leaders. Now on the inside, Nimble's going for it on Tom, and that's going to be very close once again. And finally into turn one, the move that's been coming very, very long. Ever since Nimble overtook Johnny Reid, the move was overcoming, but I think fantastic patience from Nimble showing out there to make that move, to not do any dump dive bomb on the inside. But then Tom's now going to be hanging around there as well to wait for that chance to retake that race lead, of course. If he's lost it, doesn't matter, he's not going to have it once again as other drivers pit. And now Jezza boy, Johnny's back in P4 then. As soon as Ali pits, it's going to be P3 for him, and in fact, if all of them pit, it might be quite closer to that lead once again for Johnny. We'll see how it stands as all the drivers now getting penalties. Almost everybody's got penalties. This is quite like Austria then at Spielberg. It is very close for those track limits, and it's quite kind of a similar experience. Scott then gets that penalty. A lot of the drivers now pitting, and now no soft tire runner is really on the track. Every single one has pitted, and everyone's doing their best to be pitting and being back on those newer tires on. Jazza boy in that top, and I think I had someone have a slide, and this is the Dutchie once again. Remember, he spun it earlier, and he lost that point scoring positions again, and he's done it once again on that track. It is really hard keeping it straight on track, coming out of these corners, some of these corners up the hill. Of course, without the traction control on, it is really hard, and definitely very hard to keep it out there. As now Tyler's going to try and make a move on Jazza then, as into P5 goes Tyler. His net position he does as all the drivers ahead pit. It'll be a proper chance, at least for him, to go to P4, and maybe he could give a fight to Johnny in the upcoming laps as well. It's quite close from P5 to P8. What about that lead then? Nimble still hanging around it. It's quite fantastic from Nimble as well. And one more time we try and catch up with these guys. I think someone at the bottom, and it is the Dangerous Dave, Daddy Cool, Dangerous Dave, Phoenix Gray and Becton. Their fight before that pit stop was fantastic and is still going on. Still none of them have backed out. Still none of them have chosen to let each other breathe good. And what about Tom now? Is he going to be doing it? Is he going to be making the move once again? Is he going to make a dive down the inside? He doesn't do so. Surely he's staying patient. And both of these drivers, you would have to say, that have shown the patience, the experience and everything they've got in their racing life to not be making silly mistakes to end both of their races. And of course, if you're brand new around here, make sure to follow if you haven't done so already. We're now into lap 17 out of 33 as Johnny now, it's quite close still between the top, as Johnny now goes into P3, of course, as soon as Ali then pits. Ali surely was having a great race with the top as well, and now Nimble still staying around there, still staying in that race lead and giving it everything and keeping around in that P1 place. But sure, it's going to be a matter of time before someone overtakes him, before someone not someone, but I should say Tom, in fact. It is really, really close. He's nearly on his gearbox then. It's going to be only a matter of time before he gets overtaken, before he's getting overtaken by Tom then. But I wonder if there's going to be a chance for Nimble to pull a bit of a lead then with that help of that ERS. But Tom's got all of it as well. And plus, on that rear wing of that rear wing of that DRS, and that bit of weaving around there, maybe a bit of moving, that still allows Nimble to be defending and keeping his position, as Johnny currently quite alone. But surely pulling in is Tyler and then P4. Tyler's going to do everything he can to be doing the performance. As we have a look at Jazza Boy then. It was not Jazza Boy, it was Tyler, I think, closer. And there we have a yellow flag and someone's came off, and that might be the Aston Martin of Kurt. Remember, Kurt made a mistake, made others lose ground in the race, and that has came back to him after a mistake, pretty much causing a yellow flag. But sure makes himself fall behind the pack as well. As we have a look at the cars up the grid now, and this fight still goes on. Dangerous Dave leading those guys, but still these guys still stay close. Ali then doing a fantastic job coming out in P7. Sure, still very good chances for him of scoring points. And what about someone at the bottom of the grid? I think we are seeing, and that is these guys. It is MJ and the Alfa Romeo of Cinders to fight for that 15th place. It's really big fight though. Let it be for P1 or P2 or any part or any position on the grid. It's been fantastic as it's really close between the top two still. No move from them so far though, but still quite close. And now Tom, one more chance for him with that rear wing open. Is he going to give it everything? Is he going to go for it? But does he stay patient? He does so far. As we move back to the grid, and now Tyler has already overtaken Johnny, so Tyler's got 3-second penalties as well. But I think looking at the penalties of Johnny of over 14 seconds, these 3 seconds are going to do nothing. And Ali now making moves, but I think one of them have pitted, and that is One Kidney Jim pitting. That allows all the drivers going back. And these guys that were fighting for P5 earlier, I think they've got one driver in there. That is Jazza Boy is yet to pit. We're having done 18 laps on that, and I think one more driver who should be pitting. And then at the back, we're seeing Peyton now having to fight, having to keep it hard against Eddie Cool, and someone's retired, and that is one of the Alfa Romeos have retired out of the session. Did both of them come out? Because they both, Red Bull and Alfa Romeo, were fighting, and there is MJ sticking around to that pit lane, and that means that they might have both of them collided. We'll only get to know towards the end of the race what happened between them. We were really not focused on those guys having a great action on the track ahead. It's really loss of 2 drivers now from the race. MJ also retiring, then both of them pretty much colliding with each other, or one of them ending the other driver's race. It's really, really close. Jezza still sticking there. He still doesn't pit. He does so this time finally, and that's going to allow Ali to go into 6th place then. Not far away the gap though for cars behind to Ali. Then they could be soon pulling away, and Ali will be having the hard time of the race so far to keep his position, and surely it's going to be a 4-car fight from instead of a 3-car fight, which was before the pit stop. We have Jazza, we have Daddy Cool into the pits now as well. Is he going to put in soft tires? He does put in soft tires to do just 13 remaining laps towards the end now. That is, of course, not far away. 13 laps, still quite a long of action remaining, as we have Jazza now on brand new softs. Man, something's happened and we have got disconnected. We've got disconnected. I wonder if the stream's still on. I think the stream's still on, but it is the EA servers, of course. We are out as Jazza. We were having a look at Jazza. It's all out for us. We should be getting into the session as soon as possible as we get an invite. But there you go, the stream's still running. That means it's all thanks to EA servers, but we'll still try and get in as soon as possible though. We're seeing this podium fight, which we should not be. Yeah, I do so in white. I think it happens quite often nowadays, especially when the stream's on, everything's on, but you need an invite because of all those servers. I mean, if they give us stable servers instead of a brand new game, I'd be happy, to be honest. But we'll get to the server as soon as possible, catch up with the lost action and lost track action round, as we've just got in the invite from one of our drivers, as we have a look at this then. There we go, we've got some friend requests. We will accept that towards the end of the stream, but we're having a look at the invite that we're getting now, hopefully getting into the session as soon as possible and have no issues into the session. Yes, of course, Devil rejected, doing everything he can while driving as well. I think that's the only problem you have when you get disconnected mid-race. It's more of like the drivers are driving, so it's quite nice of them to be sending the invite. But let's go, as we are now just very, very close to be going into the session as soon as possible. We had lost some drivers just right away, and we're looking at Jazza Boy, and that when the servers decided to kick us, and we already have 2 drivers now out of the session because of collisions, and one more then on the through he goes, and that's a lapped car. Scott's getting lapped. Oops. That's a bit of a mystery. Then one gets in, the other gets kicked out. Let's try and invite you out then. And are you in? It says join, I think. If you receive the invite, please let me know. As Nimble gets another fastest lap on those soft tires then. Both of the top leaders then have pitted, then everybody has pitted. But both of the top drivers on those soft compound tires. Nimble putting in those faster laps. I think Devil was in, but we try and catch up, and see if you are not in, I'll let you invite. As we have a look at this, I try and find you first, and there is you then trying to invite you. Game invite sent. Hope you received it if you're not in the session already. We're only on lap 23 out of 33, so last 10 laps now remaining to the end. The lead is looking quite comfortable for Nimble. Not quite comfortable though, it's really, really close, and surely some moves towards the end of the race are going to be performed towards the end of the race. It's going to be exciting as well, as you try and catch up with the 3 cars that were fighting for their fighting out there as well. Think then Ali pulling away quite a fine margin. It's close between these guys. Benton has fallen behind. I think it may be a mistake, or maybe some pit stop errors that allowed the dangerous Dave and Phoenix Gray pull away from him. And then it's going to be again, I wonder if it's going to be on the inside for Tom to go for that race lead. It's really, really close between them though. He's not going for it, as of course, if you're wondering how knowing all these cars, it is that on the bottom right, the minimap that's giving us all the data. Any cars I see close out on track, I catch up to them as soon as possible. As one car that we are closer to is Johnny, then gets another 3-second time penalty. That's going to be a lot of penalties added to him, and to be honest, the amount of penalties he's got, I doubt if he's going to get even inside that top 5, or even those penalties, even those points that he needs. 17 seconds then. 17-second in times. Surely others around have got penalties as well, so that kind of equalizes it at some time, but definitely 17 seconds are not going to get equalized. What about the bottom now, as we're having these guys fight? It's a fight for P11 between Jonathan and Daddy Cool. As Daddy Cool gets penalties, but Jonathan's doing everything around the outside on that medium tire, doing everything. They're still very, very close. Is one of them going to go on the inside? Jonathan doesn't do so, just has to back out, and he does back out, so he's got no ERS. That's Daddy Cool. Jonathan's got very little bit of it. He's got then just falling behind Daddy Cool, showing that pace on those soft tires, doing everything he can to be pulling back, and Devil Rejected, we're on board with him, and I think you were in the lobby, be driving again, as Jonathan gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Almost all of them have got a penalty to themselves, and I'm surprised we're not seeing any moves yet so far from Tom, or any extraordinary dive bombs. I'm sure these guys are highly trained and experienced to not be making such silly mistakes, as it's now getting closer and closer towards the end of the race. As we have a look at these guys, it's really close between Kurt and Jonathan. Jonathan's going to go for that move on the inside. Is he going to do so? Yes, he will do so. Is he going to make the move stick? There's still will to will. Kurt comes back at him, goes slightly wide, but comes back at him ahead of him, but then there's still will to will. The right behind them is Baton, who's falling behind massively, but is pitted for those soft tires to try and make some ground, try and make some performance back that he's lost. Do everything he can, still quite will to will, still 3 wide now. It goes on the exit now, still going to be close as Jonathan loses between both of them, as Kurt now gets another penalty, but he's ahead of both of them. Baton's going to try and come back at him as well. Baton, Jonathan, Baton, both fighting it out, but none of them wants to give up. Baton on those brand new soft compound tires, then Jonathan on old 10-lap old medium tires, not responding as good as the soft tires would be at this point of the race. But sure, we'd have a look at others now. Not a lot of close fights, but Jazza Boy once again now very close between Jazza Boy and one Kidney Jim. Kidney Jim is going to go on the inside of Jazza Boy. Is it going to be is it going to be a move for him? It is, at least for the moment. Jazza Boy still stays close. Is he going to try and go on that inside line? He doesn't do so. He has to back out. What about the next DRS zone? Is he going to give it everything? Is he going to back out? Or is he going to go on the inside to make that move? I don't think he will be, so he'll be backing out to... He's going to be backing out to be making that move at that exact same position that he was overtaken by him on that main straight, of course, which is pretty much that DRS zone and that important to make a move. What about these top 2 now? Nimble still staying in that race lead. I'm only waiting for Tom to regain that lead, because both of them sure on that same tire and really, really close in terms of pace as well. But still, no moves yet. It was a great move from Nimble laps earlier to take that race lead. And still very, very close though. Nimble and Tom in the race of their own, and then Tyler doing everything he can to catch up to keep his third place. He's got a penalty. Only top 2. It is only 4 drivers in this race out of 17 that are on the track. I've got no penalties. One of them is Phoenix Gray. The other is Ali, and then of course the top 2, Nimble and Tom, as I think there was a move from one of the drivers, as now Adam's getting in there. Adam's still staying there, in fact. Daddy Cool and Baton. I think Baton was fighting for those points position towards in that first stint, but I think he's falling behind massively as well. Definitely not he would have wanted at this time of the race. It's still quite a few laps remaining towards the end now. 6 laps, pretty much. We're on lap 28 out of 33 as the leaders have gone in across the line. So that's going to be now getting closer and closer to the end. And it is, or it might be, the Dutchie once again. He's had so many spins. I think in terms of pace, he was fine, but many spins that have ruined his race. Pretty much nothing for him to be fighting for, at least. And on the inside, Tom, for a moment, thought for that to make that move, but still backed out of it. He knows it. If he builds away last lap overtake, or an overtake just towards the end, or at the end of the race, that's going to be a worth it overtake, because even at this point, he's managed to overtake Nimble then, but Nimble's going to strike back and take back that race lead just in a few minutes' time. So that's, of course, going to be very important. For Tom to be staying there and so far playing it smooth sailing, and with maybe some mind games as well towards the end. Still quite a few laps towards the end as we have this battle now going between Adams and One Kidney Jim. Adams been all recovery this race as well after at this very same corner an incident happened towards at the very start of the race with one of the drivers making the collision and having others fall for it as well and pay the damage. The top 2 have been very closer to each other, and it's been only one move for that race lead after Johnny fell down, and it was Nimble overtaking. Sure, both of them managing the ERS very smoothly as well. Only over 80 to 90%. Sure, 90% for Tom, and then Tom's using none of it. And we could only see him now towards the ending parts of the Grand Prix to be using the ERS, using the battery and the energy. That's of course going to be required towards the end of the race. And sure, I think ERS is moreover required in defending rather than overtaking the car ahead. Sure, you need a little bit of power, but you need a lot of power in defending. But one man who doesn't have any power of defending is One McKidney Jim, who just gets overtaken and loses the position to Adams then. Adams got 15 laps on those medium tires, giving it everything, doing everything. My God, it's quite crazy that for how long I've been speaking straight away, not even for a second, a bit of a break, as we still have, we're now into 30, we're into the lap 30, and it is in race lead overtake, and Tom has done so. Tom has done so into lap 30 we are, and Tom towards the end, we knew that this move was up and coming anytime soon, and he has done so. And what about Nimble then? Is he going to try and go on the inside and to overtake it back again? Do any aggressive driving? Slight lock up from one of the drivers. Still going to be close for that race lead, and it's going to be really close to that race lead. We might see a photo finish as well towards the end, but we'll just know what happens only when we are closer and closer to the end of the Grand Prix, as we have it very close between these guys once again. And one of the guys that are close to each other are these ones. It is Kurt and Daddy Cool. Very close. Very fantastically close. And then Daddy's got Cool's got no DRS, no ERS as well, of course, and Kurt's got everything off it. Maybe not a lot of ERS, but some ERS as well. But the help of that rear wing is not going to be any help, as he's still going to stay there. And Adams and Kidney Jim still fighting it close, still doing everything they can to be keeping the best position they can for themselves and for the team as well. And what about the leaders now? Once again, no chance for Nimble then. And now Tom's going to show his pace and show his performance on those soft tires in clear air. Surely he hang behind Nimble the whole race and didn't go for that move. Surely he had the pace. He just had to stick behind towards the end and to have a chance at the very end of the race, and also give the other driver very, very less chances to try and attack him as well. Now we're catching up with these guys once again. It's been a fantastic race all around. So many overtakes, so many performances. As now one more time Adam goes ahead of Kidney Jim. These guys are really giving each other a hard time. None of them wants to back out. None of them wants to give an easy time to the other driver. As we're seeing another spin, and this time I'm not even gonna look at it. It is a blue car, and it'll be Dutchy then pretty much is on the inside. Is Kidney Jim going to go for it? He thinks about it for a minute, but he doesn't do so. What about Nimble then? Is Nimble going to try and make a move as well? It's getting closer and closer, but is it going to be close enough? Not so. And I think Nimble's going to be really staying there for second place, and he might have been outplayed by Tom for staying behind the whole race. But sure, quite a few time remaining before the end, and it's going to be exciting to the end as well. We might not be having this as it stands. Maybe Nimble sends one down the inside, has a chance. We'll just get to know in a little bit, and sure, both of them would want to be wanting to win the Grand Prix and give it everything, and surely both of them want to be wanting to come out on top and give the performance that they've been waiting to do so the whole race so far. Of course, this is where it all matters, and on the inside, and there is contact within, and then Tom was pushed wide, and both of them made contact, and Tyler now goes into that race lead. I think it was Tyler though. It was not Tyler, in fact. He's far behind. Both of the top leaders have collided. As I said, it's going to be very close, and it's going to be very, very close, and it was, and they made contact right when we switched up to them, and this is definitely not going to be smooth towards the end of the Grand Prix. Sure, both of them were fighting. There was a slide tap first, and then both of them ended up spinning, and now Tom's going to do everything he can as we're just starting the last lap of the Grand Prix, and not only anybody else on the grid, the top two as well, having some aggressive moves. As on the inside moves Tom, already very early moves on the inside, and Nimble's got a chance once again, and on the outside, around the outside he's going to go for that move, and Tom's not backing out. I think there was some contact already. We're having this camera angle. I'm trying to get some the likes of this. Yes, we have it. And now Tom's going to do everything to not lose it, of course. He tried everything. And as I said, Nimble was almost outplayed. But now it's going to be fantastic. Moves to the outside. Nimble does everything to defend. He locks up and really gives up on it. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we might be having a photo finish towards the end of the Grand Prix. But you're only going to be seeing that just in a minute's time. As on the inside goes Tom, hangs in there, and Tom spins, and Nimble's going to go up, and Tom send one on the inside, wasn't quite successful enough, and now Tyler's getting in there. Tyler has a penalty. He might not be he might not be close enough to get that second place, but this is fantastic. This is pure racing, and this is Tom losing all the positions, and then this is Nimble, the race Grand Prix leader, the Grand Prix winner it is going to be. Tyler's going to do everything to pull away. I don't think he can. Then I wonder where Johnny's going to finish. Fantastic race, fantastic fighting between the top two, between Tom and Nimble. Then Nimble it is going to be across that finish line to win the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's going to be Tyler finishing in second place, but it's going to be Tom finishing in second place in terms of the positions are concerned after the penalties, and Johnny is going to finish in fourth place so far. As we see Ali now coming around that last corner is going to be across that finish line. It's going to be P4. Then Johnny's going to lose another position. What about Dangerous Dave then across that finish line? It's going to be P5 for Johnny after so many penalties. And what about Dangerous Dave, Phoenix Gray then P5 and 6 for AlphaTauri. Hell of a race and a fantastic Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix that was. That's going to be Jazza Boy, Dangerous Dave taking those checkered flags. Adam taking that in P9 as well. For Kidney Jim in P10 and then P11 for Baton. Then all the drivers behind, the likes of Kurt, Daddy Cool, Jonathan, and Devil Rejected yet to take that checkered flag. Everybody has done so. It's just this one man that hasn't taken the checkered flag, and it was fantastic. And I knew it that towards the end of the Grand Prix, it's going to be very close, and the fighting that we're wanting to be seeing, the wheel-to-wheel action that we wanting to be seeing, is going to come out alive towards the end of the Grand Prix. And I think, and there you go, he's put it in the wall. I think his car even spun in the air, and now we're seeing that Jezeboy gets a driver of the day. We might have a look at the race finishing order once again, and once again have a look at it. As there's our your podium finishers, then Nimble coming at the top once again, and Tom giving it everything then, only to finish up P2. Fantastic win. That was a really dramatic end though, to be honest. We were not expecting that after we saw no overtaking, and just towards the end of the session, we are getting kicked then, I think, as we have a look at the race once again. We had Desert Boy driver of the day starting P19, so that's definitely the race he wanted to have. But then Dangerous Dave starting P12, finishing P7 as well. Fantastic from all the drivers all around. One Kidney Jim P13, finishing P10. Fantastic from all the drivers, and at least still from that top two, it was a huge Grand Prix fight, and a fantastic one towards the end. Really great one, that's for sure. And that's just a bit of a break, as we're now at the very end of the Grand Prix, and it's gonna be just the end of the session in a few.
What up chat? Vandaag ga ik mijn outfits doorverkopen op Vinted. En jij beslist, verkoop ik deze jas of misschien deze hoodie? Aight, maar voor hoeveel?
Ladies and gentlemen, the new season of MSC F1 Esports is here. Season 3.
And it's the lights out and away we go.
I'm the legend in the story, chasing down that glory. I keep rising up high. I keep rising up high. believe in. Yeah, I